assignment time. Those windows belong to a building, and the building was in an older chapter back in Unit 2. So these windows go here. Because I've repaired my OBJ, you'll see that the advantage of that is I can now hop projects. So if I go File, Import, OBJ, and another thing I like to do is keep this all in one folder. So let's start a project folder. Now that we've got this far, we've got to the point where we're now starting our scene. So new folder, I'm just typing in scene, and in scene I want this data, okay, and I want a bit from Unit 2. I want this stuff. So here I need just my blend file and my color map and normal map. I'll bring that along just in case, copy it. Here's my scene file, and I'll paste this stuff in. Alright, now let's just close out of Blender and relaunch it and open it from that directory. Here's my scene, and here's my Unit 2 scene. And everything loads right. So just like OBJs, Blender files also have a thing called relative path. So as long as your textures are in the folder, it will load the textures. But here's the advantage of having the OBJs linked. So now if I need those windows, I can go like this. And they automatically load with their textures. So that is why it's important to know how to do this stuff. So you'll also notice over here, if I can get this pulled out, it's being a little finicky. I have to pull this out and then this out more. Look, I got Windows big and Windows small. So because I've named my meshes, oh wait, no it didn't. Those are my old ones. Darn. But if I would have named my meshes, it would have brought in that data too from the OBJ. So I'm going to delete my old windows and rename my new windows. Let's pull out window large, and we'll do an object transform origin to geometry, and let's do that to this other one also. Object transform origin to geometry, and pull that out. The building, we just have to augment a little bit. We're going to go into edit mode and destroy some of these faces. And then we're going to put the windows back into place. Go into edit mode, go to face, highlight that face, and make sure that is set to alpha. Okay. Now it won't show up just yet because remember in N we haven't set this to textured face. And you can also see that there's some repair on the building because of that too. Okay, now how do you set the building to actually work correctly? Now if you make this so it all works correctly just by something so easy as loading it into your scene, you'd be surprised on how much better things render. So what I would do personally is take the building and we'll look at it as a cleanup process. So it has brick, it has a texture on here, it has everything else. What happens if I just scrub it clean? I could do it that way, or I could go over here and just see what happens when I hit A, go to image, go to open image, and I'll assign that color channel to it. So brick color map. And in this case it did fix it. You notice it's very bright compared to the windows. And that's because I never took the OCC and the color map and put it together in that unit. So that's going to be part of your assignment, is to combine color map and OCC. And you can do that in GIMP. I think I've shown that before. If not, I think I better show you that. My scene. Here is my brick color map. Here's my brick OCC. If I remember right, I showed you how to do it via material. And now you're understanding that special renders are involved in that case. What I like to do is hard encode it or post process it. So in this case, I have my OCC. I can edit copy this. And then I can put it on my brick building and go edit paste. I'll keep that as a layer. And then I could switch that layer to multiply. And then I could lower down the opacity just a little bit. And now this is my new color map. Okay, I'll hit save over here because I can't reach that button. And I'll hit export. And while you're here, Yamelza just generate a normal map, right? And then in future lessons, I'll show you how to tag all that in. So here's this. And if you know how to do it, do it. Filters, map, normal map. Actually, I've covered normal map quite a few times, but just want to make sure that everybody gets it. Save as. So here's my brick normal map. It looks like I've already made one, and the fact that textured face really doesn't support it or display it is no surprise to me. Okay, let's go over here. Reload image. Okay, there's my darker variants. Good. It's got the shadows in the areas. Should have some shadows on top now too. And the material, let's just kind of check that out for real quick. Here's brick. It does have a normal map already installed. I can now get rid of this one. I don't need the OCC. I can move this one up, and then I could take this one and make sure it's got the right color map. I like hitting reload just to make sure. So here's the disadvantages of Blender. It shows everything as far as alpha is concerned in the textured mode, and then it shows normal mapping correctly in GLSL. So now I get to see my normal map. The preferred state of things is the GLSL, because in game engines that alpha is going to work correctly. Just because Blender can't support it in GLSL doesn't mean that it's not working in other packages. We just use Blender to make this whole scene, and then we can transfer it over to a game engine. We'll get into that later on as far as porting is concerned. This is your assignment, is to get your windows in place and give me a screenshot of this and label it GLSL, and label and switch it over to this so I can see that your alpha is working correctly, and get me a screenshot of this. Okay, label the screenshots and put them in your scene folder, and just give me your scene folder, everything. I just want everything and anything. So save this out. If we look at our scene folder, we have this. We're going to have 2 screenshots in here. I'm going to use those for purposes later on. I'll explain just for teacherly purposes as examples. That's why I want them. In the scene folder, let's rename it. Now, I put an _1 here because you're going to be adding to that scene as the weeks go on. So this is scene 1. Please zip that up. And upload it. And that's your assignment. Alright, enjoy. And let's go on to the next unit.